Going to initialize the mod now. So, as you can see in this current playthrough, I have a couple of wars going on right from the get-go here. The first one on the left is not one that I'm really too actively participating in. The second one is a revolt against me, as you can see. That one little lordship up there has decided they no longer wish to be my vassal anymore. I should be able to easily defeat them. I guess we shall see though, right? So they've raised their 2,000 men. Auto-saving. As you can see, I can raise almost 13,000 men, so, well, actually 17,000 men. I really shouldn't have that much trouble bringing them to heal. I've decided to only raise my vassal levies. I'm going to have them all meet in Winterfell, kind of mass my troops there, and we'll go from there. So I'm looking around to make sure I didn't miss any of my armies. My other war has ended. I guess the claim is no longer valid. I'm going to send these guys home because they're not really big enough and I think they're going to get attacked. So looks like the enemy is sieging one of my castles. Looks like the Lord Paramount of the North has a war going on now as well. But as you can see, because I don't have the little swords through the picture of that guy, I'm involved in the war through my lord, but I'm not actively really in the battles. Unless I really want to be, but there's not really a great need to do that generally. Lady Kira of Arrendell has called in some allies. You can see them there. They have 1,500 troops. Someone's telling me that someone is a product of adultery. I'm trying to decide if I care. It looks like this guy's one of my kinsmen, though, so I'll just go with it. It's all lies. Because why would I want someone in my family not to have a good claim anymore? Someone died of grayscale. Very nasty stuff. My troops are still assembling. Hopefully soon they'll be ready to go and take care of this revolt. Looks like this guy doesn't really know which way he wants to go. Looked like he was going to head north. Now he's heading south. Just checking on what's going on with my claims up there, my de jure claims. Looks like now he is heading north. Winter is here again. And go through my list of allies just to kind of see. I don't think I'll actually need anybody up, but my wife is involved, so it's always easy to call your wife into war. She pretty much always comes. So why not? And she'll answer my call. That's great. And she has 3,000 men, which will be helpful. So once she arrives in Winterfell, which I believe she will in a little bit now, we should be ready to go. We'll have almost 6,000, no, actually 6,600 men compared to what they have, which is quite a bit less, and try to find some good leaders for my armies. It's important to find people with good martial skills so that we can, get some good moves and stuff going on during the battles. Looks like I've decided I'm just going to go straight to Shadowmoor and take them out. Oh, changed my mind. I'm going to head to Arrendell instead, siege their homeland. Lord Wendel is zealous, so I'm trying to somewhat make the old gods happy with many of my decisions. He's a firm believer in the old gods. I've got these men north of the wall, because I actually own a couple of lordships up there. They're part of my realm. The problem is the wildlings revolt all the time, so I pretty much need to have a constant standing army ready up there. And it appears that my enemies have decided that they should head north and try to take that army on instead of fighting the one that's in their homeland here. So, just another example of the AI making a probably fairly silly decision. Just trying to figure out where she is so that I can hopefully take her prisoner, which will make the war end very quickly. Just checking out the war score. Yeah. Control all their holdings, because it took me a while to assemble all my men. It takes, as I've learned from trying to put down some wildling revolts, it takes a long time to move through the lands of the Night's Watch, and it's not a very good supply area, so I'm sure they're actually losing quite a few men on their little trek north. Looks like I had a couple of events pop up at the top. Looks like a marriage, a title. Sure, sounds good. I can create a title, the High Lordship of the Frostfangs, which is a wildling title. Why not? So I'm now High Lordship of Lower Frostfangs, which is the Gorge, Central Frostfangs, and I think the Fist of Man, which is where my 1,600 troops are there north of the wall. Looks like they're possibly about to get attacked by these rebels. Looks like I have a pretty good guy in charge of these troops at least. My mercenary captain. Should be in good terrain, I think. See if I get anyone else that can help out. You can see that Stark there, he's not a real Stark. He's the real Starks died hundreds of years ago, and I guess the game decided needed a new name for someone, and now I have Starks again, but they're not the right Starks. Looks like my siege is going pretty well. It's almost over, which will be good. They're attacking all my wildling force, or put down force up north. I'm probably going to lose that battle, but really shouldn't be a problem. They're kind of wasting their time fighting that army. Because the real army's down in Arrendell, where they really need to come back and try to probably dislodge me in a little bit as I'm about to sack one of their castles. And I lost, as I predicted. But I did win the siege, and now she's actually locked up. But she hasn't been imprisoned by me. So I could demand that she be sent to me, or I could just leave her where she is and continue the war. Even locked up by one of my vassals, she won't let me enforce demands. She was in my dungeon, she would, but I think I decided just to continue to fight, if I am remembering correctly. And she was my Master of Laws was murdered. That is pretty terrible. I guess I'll have to appoint a new one. Let's see, do I have anybody good? Not too bad, although they really don't seem to like me too much. I'll go for it anyways, because I'm really trying to fabricate a claim on Last Hearth, which, if you're a fan of the show or the books, you know that Last Hearth is where the Umbers traditionally live. It was originally where I lived many, many years ago. Basically, someone pressed my granddaughter's claim, and then once they put a woman on the seat, they pressed their own claim, and I lost Last Hearth. And I was left with like Bear Island and very little. So now I somehow ended up with Winterfell through marriage, Barrowlands, and I still kind of control Bear Island, but I usually give it to my heir because I can only usually have 2 demesne titles, or whatever they're called. So I have been trying to fabricate a claim on Last Hearth so that I can try to reclaim what is really rightfully the family's. I haven't really been all that successful. Looks like I lost a siege up north of the wall. Again, I don't really know why the AI is worried about trying to take those territories. It's really not going to do them much good, because they're going to lose. Looks like one of my daughters had a child. Oh, but she died though. Looks like now they're going after my army again north of the wall. Going to siege another castle here in Arrendell. decided to call my personal levies and see if I can speed things up maybe. Get someone with a little better martial than myself, because I only have 6, which is very low. Apparently, I did not send those guys home. I guess I'm gonna siege the other troublemaker who joined the revolters in Arrendell. Try to siege all their stuff too. Maybe that'll get their attention, make them come back south of the wall and actually fight me instead of just my extra army that I leave up there to try to deal with the wildlings. It's kind of a little annoying taking on that army. The one good thing about when the wildlings revolt is that they actually revolt against the Iron Throne and not myself. But I usually try to put the revolt down anyways. I don't really want the Iron Throne getting angry with me for not being able to control my subjects. So as you can see now, I'm sieging things at this ally of the revolters with my 10,000 men. I've got my 6,000 men. I'm going to go take back the place that they were able to siege some lands from me. It looks like they're sieging another one of my holdings north of the wall, which I guess all things being equal is probably the best, because those are my poorest holdings, so pretty much doing the least damage possible to me by attacking me up there. Looks like my mercenary army that I keep up there to deal with wildlings is probably just about to disband. Maybe not. Looks like they're just barely going to survive the battle. 62 men. We'll see what happens though. Looks like a couple of wildlings are fighting between my 2 lordships up there. Looks like my enemies got involved in that fight. Looks like one of my grandsons is brave, took on a snake. A couple of good sieges going on down south of the wall. Looks like I finally got their attention and they're coming back down to try to do something. I'm not sure what they think they can do, but we shall see, right? A little confused that it says the rebels control all their holdings. They do not. I control them. But seems like I'm still winning the war, so maybe a slight bug in the game there, but seems like it's not going to have a huge impact on things, so continue on my way. So now that they fought my army up north of the wall, they only have like 1,400 men left versus my, I'm going to say 16,000. So I wish them a lot of luck in trying to unseat me. Let's see where they go. Right now they're heading to New Gift. Looks like I lost a siege up there with my little tiny force. It's okay, I'm not really expecting them to do too much. Hopefully they can just stay alive and collect reinforcements like mercenaries will, and we'll go from there. Looks like someone has declared himself king beyond the wall. Too much going on. Just kind of waiting to see what their army does. Sieging castles and guarding the other castles I already sieged. Looks like they're planning to come to Shadowmoor, which is right next to Arrendell. It's the place they originally sieged some of my other castles. Guess they're not interested in trying to fight me head on. To siege my castle. I'll send my 5,800 men over there to try to deal with them. And it looks like I'm going to catch them, so I should be able to win this fight, you would think. I have a lot more men. Some of them already started to run. More of them are starting to run. And it looks like it's pretty much a rout. I think it looks like I lost about 200 men. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Now war score is 100%. Definitely won this revolt. Oh. And I've received an offer of peace. She'll be imprisoned by me. I'll gain 50 prestige. And the war will be over. Yay! So, dismiss all my men so they stop costing me money. And making my vassals unhappy. Never good to have unhappy vassals. Since that mercenary force got so obliterated, I think I'll get rid of them as well. And I'll hire another force to send north of the wall to deal with these wilding revolts that happen from time to time. Just checking out all my titles, I guess. What claims I have. Looks like I can press a claim against King Quint II, Widowmaker of Beyond the Wall. Looks like someone wants to depose me, this guy, for some reason. Looks like no one really wants to follow him, though, so I'll probably just let him have his faction and probably ignore him, unless he actually gets the gall to attack me, and then I'll go for it. I shouldn't have any trouble beating him, I would think. Oh, it looks like I was going to try to imprison him, but it'll make everyone angry with me, so I can't revoke titles either because crown authority isn't high enough, so there's really not much I can do unless he actually revolts. Or I could try to kill him, or imprison him, or incite him to revolt through the plot settings, but I don't know if it's really necessary. Looks like someone wants to, the wife of the guy who wants to depose me wants to depose my liege. They're just looking to stir up trouble, it seems like. See who can cause the most trouble in the realm, I guess.